Make a slight correction to Mr. Harrell. I come from Virginia. Governor Youngkin wants to be first. You were just saying nobody wants to be first. Governor Youngkin wants us to be first, and we've been debating all those issues. And interestingly, today in the Cardinal News, an online news service, Dwayne Yancey does a report where he talks to the head of the Virginia Tech Nuclear Engineering Department, and he says, even though Virginia is well positioned, we have North Anna, we have Surrey Nuclear, we have Newport News Shipbuilding, which does all the nuclear submarines. We have BWX Technologies, about six or 7 miles outside of my district, maybe 10. They've also got a facility in Irwin, Tennessee, also just outside of my district, and my district's only about a little less than 2 hours from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. So we think we're well positioned. And the professor comes out today and says, yeah, all the issues y'all have been discussing aren't the major one. The major one is workforce. Finding the people who know how to build it and how to manage it is going to be the real issue. So can y'all talk about that and how we're going to be prepared? Because we've been thinking that with all the skilled, fit folks that we have coming out of natural gas and coal production in the district, that we would have people who are used to energy and comfortable with it. But he says we don't have the workforce ready. So can y'all discuss that a little bit, the workforce to manage a small, and we're looking at small modular reactor. Yeah. I'll start with you, but I'm happy to get everybody's opinion.
Appreciate the question, and yeah, very, very exciting what's happening in Virginia now, and I think Virginia is very well positioned to be a leader in new nuclear. Your universities have robust nuclear engineering programs that are trying to get at some of that training. Obviously, BWXT, big employer in the state, and really big driver. And it's one of the big upsides for nuclear, right? Like nuclear energy jobs pay much significantly higher relative to other energy industries, and their long-term high-paying jobs. And you mentioned the nexus with the national security side. Civilian nuclear is a great spot for our service members who've involved in Navy nukes, things like that. So once they leave the service to land in a high-paying industry that still has significant impact on our national security. And so I do think we need to be thoughtful about those types of investments. And so I think these universities are doing the right thing. The VNEC has made a lot of big moves, kind of in advance of this moment.
Hang on, the V what?
The VNEC, the Virginia Nuclear Energy Commission. That's kind of the coalition in the state that over the last couple of years have really wanted to make some of these investments to position the state well. And so I think those are going to be really important. The crux of it is we need projects. This is the era of deployment. Like, we need to attract new young people.
But if we build it, will there be people to build it, operate it, run it, and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to? That's the question.
Not yet. But I think all this excitement in the industry is giving us that moment.
Well, how long will it take to gear up? Because we're ready to. I mean, a lot of us are ready to go forward. I understand that not everybody in the state feels that way, but a lot of us do.
It's why some of these programs, so that we have more than just one project or big manufacturing facilities, are so important, because it gives long-term certainty to folks to come into this field. And so
what you're saying is that we as the federal government should incentivize a couple of projects in my district on this level.
And the state should as well. I think this Virginia Nuclear Energy Hub is a really great idea by Governor Youngkin, and I think will drive more investment.
All right,
in the
my
state.
clock is running, but I did promise that I'd let all of you weigh. Anybody got anything to add on workforce?
I would echo much of what has been said, but I think, even beyond the operation, just the constructability, the workforce relative to those skills, that's an area I think Europe is ahead of us with their strong apprenticeship-type programs. But I do think the answer that Mr. Harrell said, creating the market first. The urgency with creating that market will subsequently develop those kind of programs, either through community colleges, apprenticeship programs. We have some of those in place right now at Duke around transmission skill sets, right? Lineman skill set. That can expand.
We're not that far from Duke territory either.
And I understand.
Right, I mean, out in Southwest Virginia. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just gonna make one point. I agree with all this projects, everything, the demo projects, but we're finishing 2 large plants in Georgia. It'd be great if they were actually moving right on to the next plant. There's a lot of people that have a lot of experience that could just continue constructing plants, moving from one to one. A lot of them.
So we might be able to pick up some workers out of Georgia short term. We want them to come live and spend their money in our area.
Yeah.
Mr. Harrell, a lot of folks are concerned about just being used by the nuclear industry as the next stop. What kind of investments do they make besides the good paying jobs? What else can the community look for if we get a small modular reactor in the area?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say nuclear is the exact opposite. We've got a track record across the country, in your state, and in South Carolina as well, that nuclear is there to stay. These are 50, 60, 70-year projects. They invest in communities. They're contributing significant local tax resources. It's not an industry that comes in and out. The construction, obviously, there's a big uptick, but unlike the solar industry, the wind industry.
And the
nuclear
safety
puts
record's
people
pretty
on
good. My time's up. I'm going to have to yield back. I yield back.